For a lot of you who have been always still on the fence about French, well, I think the proof is in the pudding, right? And at least I have been screaming on top of the tower, if you want to call it, or top of the mountain, if you want to call it, that guys, French is going to be the way to go. I think for more than a year now that we've been talking about it, that French as a second language is going to give you a huge benefit. Not only with the Quebec, of course, the Quebec immigration programs are quite different, but even within the Express Entry, the French speaker stream scores drop down to 300s, right? Ontario has a French speaker stream. The scores can go pretty low. Saskatchewan gives you 10 extra points. You will start seeing other provinces also start looking to invite French category specific draws, or they will be start inviting people who have factor points in French. So even now, if you're on the fence about French, please bear in mind that French is the second national language of Canada. I know there are a lot of people who, whenever they see a French draw, they get pretty riled up and they start calling Mark Miller racist, or why is there a bias against French? Well, I think you're mistaken. French draws are quite limited. They will always be limited, even in Express Entry. There's a small number in Express Entry. It's not a very big number at the end of the day. This year, they have identified about 24,000 people. 25,000 people will be immigrating to Canada under the French programs outside the Quebec area. Now, these 24,000 is not an additional invitation. They're still part of the program. So whether it's PNPs, whether it's regular Express Entry draws, whether it's category-based draws, or specific French speakers draw, the total number that they're looking to invite is about 24,000. Of course, basically because they want to encourage Francophone migration outside the Quebec region. You can't really blame them. It's the country's language, second national language. They will do whatever they need to do to promote the language and the culture, of course. So if you have an eye on it, also keep in mind that 24,000 out of some 265, 270,000 people for the total economic programs, if it's only 24,000 for French, it's still less than, 10% of the total economic pathways, which basically means 90% is still for Anglophones, right? So don't hold it against the Francophones. It's not something that this is being biased towards it. It's just about having a bigger picture in terms of the Anglophones and Francophones in mind, and improving or increasing the Francophone immigration. Apart from that, if you're still on the fence, so you need to understand that French immigration, or when I'm saying French immigration, I mean the Francophone, encouraging the Francophone immigration outside Quebec will continue. This year's pathway already says it. 2024, 2025 pathway also has, the numbers also has Francophone immigration numbers quite clear. 2026 also has Francophone immigration quite clearly mentioned. The numbers are quite clearly mentioned. So it would be in your interest to consider French as a second language if you still wish to make this your path. Right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Once again, this is the link to make an appointment one-on-one for your consultations, whether it's virtual, whether it's here in Hyderabad, whether it's in Surat, whether it's in Ahmedabad. We are there in all these three places for in-person. Of course, you can always book an appointment, which is for a virtual consultation. And of course, for seminars, free seminars happening in Surat and Ahmedabad, 17th of February in Surat, 18th of February in Ahmedabad. The link to register is in the description. If you have friends or families in Surat or Ahmedabad, have them come over. We're going to have a lot of chat, a lot of fun, a lot of interesting conversations about this. And of course, we will be answering all the questions that they may have at that point of time. Thank you so much for joining in. It was great coming back again and doing this live once again. I will do this again, of course, next week. Until then, stay tuned to any updates that happen, and I shall see you then.